today comes from Leafy. So it looks like Leafy's channel was actually taken down off of YouTube last night, and it looks like he might have been permanently banned off of the entire platform. Slasher tweeted this out. He says Leafy's YouTube account has been terminated due to multiple or severe violations of YouTube's policy prohibiting content designed to harass, bully, or threaten. Now Keemstar tweeted this last night. He says, as far as I know, at the time of Leafy getting terminated, he had 0 community guideline strikes.
Leafy has officially been banned from YouTube, with his account deleted late on Friday night.
Leafy just got terminated off of YouTube. His channel is officially gone, and we don't know if he'll ever come back. Because of this, he's trending on Twitter, and everybody's talking about it, and I mean absolutely
specifically, but LeafyIsHere being banned on YouTube today, pretty big deal in that space. I would say he's widely considered like the godfather of the commentary community in the sense of like chatting shit, making jokes about other YouTubers and stuff over gameplay.
So it appears that LeafyIsHere has found a new home over on Storyfire, which is basically a smaller, growing though, competitor to YouTube. If you don't know what's happened over the last few days, there's been a lot of, I guess, uproar against YouTube and against just generally people who are anti-free speech and like for deplatforming and whatnot.
The question is, at what point does a platform become a publisher if they have strict rules for what content they allow on the site? Censor only certain people's opinions, and push content that falls in line with the agenda of the site and its owners. When do they become liable for what is said on their app if they are the ones controlling the narrative and speech coming out of it? That's where things become unclear.
He had 12 videos insulting Pokimane in the title, laughing at her in the title, using degrading thumbnails to insult her, and I understand the content of all 12 of those videos wasn't solely focused on Pokimane. They were mainly like financial rants and shit like that, but still having 12 videos all insulting Pokimane in the title and thumbnail, that's viewed as harassment by YouTube. And to be fair, that's literally textbook harassment.
There's no denying that Leafy was a captivating and charismatic speaker. Let's just say there's a reason Leafy convinced almost 5 million people to subscribe to him in just a year.
That's why people like Leafy, because he's just so blatantly honest about what he's saying. He doesn't sugarcoat the shit that he says, and I respect him for that.
Everybody knows that Leafy was a dick, but that doesn't mean his channel should have been terminated, because I'm honestly not the nicest person either, and the fact that I can make 2 or 3 commentary videos and get shut down is just appalling to me. You should never believe in any kind of censorship, and you should never let anybody tell you what you can or cannot say unless you're in like school or something.
I would love to see Leafy try and exist in today's current landscape. When Slasher, this is when I first learned about when Slasher tweeted out Leafy's YouTube account has been terminated due to multiple or severe violations of YouTube's policy prohibiting content designed to harass, bully, or threaten.
You have to admit that back when Leafy was this huge supervillain of the internet, YouTube was a lot more interesting for everybody.
August 21st, 2020. The day that Leafy's YouTube channel got terminated. The day where Leafy was trending on Twitter. Leafy, a channel with 4 million subscribers, getting suspended. Whether you like the Leafy or not, there are some interesting holes left to be said, let alone suspicion. A lot of people were upset, spamming YouTube, declaring for an answer, while others were celebrating. But let me explain to you why celebrating a channel's termination in this situation is a bit uneasy and probably not a good idea.
What else could be responsible for all of the strange patterns in Leafy's data? It's just too much of an anomaly to happen under natural circumstances. Something had to be pulling the strings behind the scenes, and I think that thing was YouTube tweaking the visibility of Leafy's videos. It makes perfect sense on YouTube's end. They were worried about Leafy gaining too much influence and turning YouTube's culture toxic. They wanted to stop him, but they didn't want anyone to know they were deliberately interfering with the growth of a YouTube channel. Is it not reasonable to infer that YouTube may have covertly injected an early version of this system into Leafy's channel?
So we're actually not going to watch this video. Sorry, PewDiePie. No brofist today. Fuck you. Just kidding, PewDiePie. I actually love your videos.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna like answer some questions and go off for a bit. Technoblade never dies?
You see, YouTube has these rules where, in order for you to get a channel terminated, it's 3 strikes and you're out. Leafy's channel termination ended up not being that case. Whether you were a fan of Leafy or not, you gotta admit, this channel termination seems unjustified, due to YouTube not following their own rules to begin with. You could argue that each individual video that Leafy made that were quote harassment got a community guidelines strike, but even then, Leafy would have gotten emails about it, which he didn't. So it begs the question, why did YouTube randomly terminate Leafy's channel without any further explanation, besides saying that the quote YouTube account associated with this video has been terminated? And as showed before, this also brings back to Emperor Lemon's explanation on YouTube's censorship towards Leafy. It wouldn't be too far off to make an assumption that YouTube hated Leafy, but yet when Leafy's channel would get some sort of problem, Team YouTube would help him out or put his video on the trending page. So was YouTube helping him, or were they giving him false hope for him to continue on and find a perfect time to strike? YouTube couldn't just kill a channel right off the bat, because it seems like they didn't want to interfere with the growth of a YouTube channel. But they would soon make that mistake. It could be argued that Leafy's termination is due to his old videos of bullying people and punching down. Even if that were the case, he still didn't get any sort of email from YouTube, which is what they're supposed to do when your channel does get terminated, which they failed to do so.
You know, the first thing I had to tweet when I learned about this was that I had to tweet this. I would love to see Leafy try and exist in today's current landscape. When Slasher, this is when I first learned about it, when Slasher tweeted out, Leafy's YouTube account has been terminated due to multiple or severe violations of YouTube's policy prohibiting content designed to harass, bully, or threaten.
People back then were making theories out there that H3 and Pokey were the cause of this. Especially Pokemon's followers, mostly known as her, quote, Tier 3 subs, or simps. But Pokey made a statement that she had nothing to do with it, while H3 just posted a meme.
I would love to see Leafy come back and try to exist in the landscape today. Like, the content that he was making would never...
So it just leads to a more bigger confusion.
But let's be real here, obviously it's H3.
But no, for a serious note though, it just leads things to be more confusing than before. Then again, it's YouTube and they're pretty much vague.
So first of all, I don't think any content creators should be celebrating Leafy's channel termination. Even if you absolutely hate Leafy, hate everything about him, have wet dreams where he's being sent away to jail for life in an isolation chamber, you still shouldn't be happy that he got banned this way, because to my understanding, he had 0 strikes on his account before it was completely just fucking eradicated from existence. And if it can happen to a 5 million subscriber channel, it can happen to any channel. Happened overnight. Like the fucking Tooth Fairy came in out of nowhere and just snatched his soul, his YouTube soul away, and had no priors. That should be scary to anyone that makes content on the internet, I would say.
If Leafy's channel can get terminated this way, then any channel on YouTube could happen as well. And the scary thing about this is, it can happen unfairly, but this wouldn't be the first time this has happened. An example of this could be found by Monkey Jones, where no matter how many times he made a YouTube channel, it would get terminated. Even when one of his friends, Rusty Cage, would upload the same video as Monkey, Monkey would get the unfair treatment while Rusty got away with it freely with no consequences. This cycle just proves a prime example of censorship on YouTube's part. Another example is one of iDubbbz's videos where he did a content comp on LeafyIsHere, and despite the fact that it was put on the trending page for 2 days, iDubbbz got an email from YouTube that it was taken down for, quote, harassment and bullying. So you would think that since iDubbbz got an email from YouTube about a video takedown, that Leafy would also get an email about a video takedown. You see the flaws about YouTube here? Last example I'm showing is from the H3 and Keemstar situation where both of them battled out about YouTube takedowns and emails thrown back and forth, all of which Leafy didn't receive. It's pretty ironic to see Leafy's channel terminated with all of these flaws, but turns a blind eye for keeping a porn ad on YouTube. And with all these false takedowns and how YouTube is trying to be very serious about situations like this, better yet, another example is probably YouTubers that deserve to get terminated. Those who have actually caused trouble towards YouTube's reputation. Those that didn't take accountability of their actions. Those that abused the YouTube system. Those that pander to children. Those that show a clear indentation to be terminated.
But I can tell you right now, Pokimane and Ethan had absolutely no fucking hand in that whatsoever. Now, I'm not their lawyer or anything, I'm not going to be like their Saul Goodman or anything, but I can say with a high level of certainty that there is not a single YouTube creator, not T-Series, not PewDiePie, that can go to YouTube and tell them how to enforce rules on their platform. They don't take any of that seriously. There is nobody that can go to YouTube and say, I want action taken against this and that, and YouTube would listen. That just doesn't happen. And I can say that with confidence because with our company, Human Media Group, we actually have a direct line to YouTube now. And you know, like my boy George, I've been curious, I've been inquisitive, I've been asking like some actual shit that I've wanted to know for a long time to unravel the mystery of YouTube. So if Ethan or Pokimane really did have a problem with all of Leafy's content, they would have to go through proper legal channels through a lawyer to have any action taken on YouTube's part, where it'd have to be an official document, lawyer, from court, everything that tells them it has to be taken down or the channel has to go online. YouTube would not do that on their own because of a legal nightmare.
So it was made pretty clear that no one has direct contact to YouTube itself when it comes to wanting to get rid of a user. So it just advocates the reasoning that it was all YouTube's doing. Based on their response, it seems like YouTube just played it off as if they sent him 3 strikes all at once. The point of the 3-strike system is to warn the creator. To warn them that they need to behave better or else you'll end up with a strike. But yet, they somehow managed to fail to do that. And if Leafy did somehow end up getting a warning, you know, during his return of YouTube, then it would only make sense to just give him 1 strike for this whole entire situation. It wouldn't make much sense to give him 3 strikes all at once.
We'll return after these messages.
Hey, yo, Steve, I see a clue. Oh, what?
Oh, did you see a clue?
Yes, Steve!
Where?
On the sippy cup!
Bro, you cannot make this up right now, bruh. Homie took their entire time out of their day to expose Pokimane's boyfriend. What the fuck, man? Why would you take that time? This is so funny. But yet, bruh, they go pretty in depth, and I don't know how to feel about this since I don't even watch Pokimane. But like, bruh. Now I'm not one to advocate this though, or advocate for this, but what the fuck?
Randy, you apparently look good as a girl.
Excuse me, what?
Oh my god! This picture's wonderful!
Should I be scared?
This is the best picture I've ever seen!
Hello again.
Did you know that this dude looks really good as a girl?
My god. My god.
Wait, you're a girl?
Yeah, apparently he is. I just found this picture. My stream chat just linked it to me.
Oh, it's Pokimane!
Oh my god! And I was like, wait, what? The video is trending? And it turns out it was. In Canada, in the UK, in the US, Australia, the United Arab Emirates, literally all over Europe, except for my own country.
This guy is not funny, and his animations are making me angry IRL.
Leafy, no, watch out what you say or else it will bite you back. Oh god. I hear them coming now.
One giant mistake by letting his ego get in the way and losing grip on his priorities. By taunting H3H3 with this clip over and over again, he placed himself in this cycle of trying to prove Ethan wrong and make him look stupid.
YouTube channel is pretty much a politically correct commentary channel that's not funny, doesn't add any new insights, isn't unique, and you also suck at drawing. I don't care if it takes you an entire sweatshop in Vietnam to animate these videos, they still blow fat cock, and you don't even have the excuse that you're shitposting.
That a channel of this size has just gone to waste. And what's even more sad, in my opinion, is how Leafy is acting like he doesn't care. Flexing with the $4 million he supposedly made, but meanwhile he cut off the connection to his own audience and sabotaged a large source of his income by sheer vanity and frustration. Leafy fans will say, he doesn't care, bro, he tricked the system. He got his bag and left on his own terms. And that's probably the biggest lie he managed to sell to those looking up to him.
I mean, don't tell me I didn't warn ya. So now there's a claim where Leafy's channel termination was justified. Going through a bit of a rebuttal here. So while we're here talking about
smart content,
you gotta keep in mind that why yes, the YouTube harassment policy was there since 2019, and yes, YouTube 2016 is and was, you know, never the same as today's YouTube landscape, oh yeah, yada yada yada. But also note that while the claim of there being a quote precedent, the only precedent Leafy's banning sets is that YouTube will literally terminate any channel regardless of how many subscribers. Now, obviously looking back at his channel, he was purposely pushing the boundaries by putting Pokimane in the title and or thumbnail, but as stated earlier by others, the whole entire thing should have led to a strike. One of the important things to realize here is that these videos were approved for monetization by YouTube themselves. Remember earlier how I said that back then when Leafy would try to contact YouTube to help resolve an issue, either that being around demonetization or age-restricted videos? Well, there's evidence that YouTube themselves manually reviewed these disputes and manually removed the strikes or age-restricted content. He got a green light from YouTube to do something that is arguably, quote, violation of the terms of service, basically turning a 180. This can be argued that this point in particular doesn't set a precedent, but rather establish one. Then there was the comparison between the Paul brothers and Leafy, by how they broke a lot of the guidelines just as much as Leafy. This comparison would have been fair, but the difference between the Paul brothers and Leafy is that while the Paul brothers were doing things that crossed the, quote, metaphorical line, they were also actively, at the time, the face of YouTube. YouTube would promote their shit and put them actively on the trending page, giving them a cool shiny YouTube Red series and even a part of Google preferred ads, basically being sponsored by YouTube. While Leafy, however, at no point in his career on YouTube had that type of treatment of being at the top or face of YouTube. So that can be argued that Leafy, quote, crossing the line isn't as big a deal compared to, at the time, the face of YouTube doing it. The claim that he cut off his entire audience is a bit over-exaggerated. He still has his Twitter where he can still connect and communicate with his audience. And while I would say he has his Twitch, ironically enough, his Twitch as of right now has been banned. How fitting. Let's see how long it'll be till his Twitter gets suspended. Okay, yeah. Wait, so if you're telling me that apparently YouTube gave him a green light to do the videos that he was doing, but then YouTube doing a 180 and terminated his channel by then now saying that it was bad and harassment, wouldn't that mean that he technically tricked the system? I don't know, it's just something to think about.
Rev up those fryers, cause I am sure hungry. It's time to do.
There's one argument that a lot of people are making, and it's quite of an interesting argument, and I'm not really going to talk too much about it, mainly because it stands more or less on the political era, and I'm not so much of a political channel. So basically people are making the claim like, oh, so if a channel like Leafy gets terminated for quote harassment, then how come huge late night TV show hosts still, stay up on the trending page? To clarify what I mean by that, and to hopefully clarify what other people are trying to say here, is that they both do, the same thing on bashing people. The content is almost identical when it comes to quote unquote criticism. The difference between late show host and Leafy is that, well, with late night show hosts, they have more of an audience and there's more of them compared to Leafy. Plus, on top of that, there can be an argument that these late night show hosts, have a greater impact when talking about either that be celebrities, politics, or whatever. And also another claim is that they have more of a rabid fan base, and they also tend to poke fun at those who are higher ranked or lower ranked than them. It really makes you wonder. A majority of them tend to bash and make jokes towards other people, and many of them you can find on YouTube. But according to most people, they believe that YouTube puts a blind eye on that. Which in that case, it just seems like every huge website has their own type of bias towards something over the internet. It makes it seem like whoever is at the top gets more power and prestige, to say the least. I didn't want to talk too much about this situation since a lot of their reasoning has something to do more or less about politics, but I tried to dumb it down a little bit where it didn't really talk about that era, since I'm not a political channel, and honestly, I don't give a shit about politics. And also because I just don't want to offend anyone that's on the internet that even talks about politics, you know what I mean? It's if I have an opinion about something that's political, then I'll either just keep it to myself, because me starting to talk about it on the internet is just basically me shooting myself in the foot. People are celebrating Leafy's channel termination, and you can't change their mind. They believe whatever they want to believe. But my reasoning and the reason why this isn't such a great thing to celebrate as a creator is because this can happen to literally anyone on the website. And as to some people, and even shown evidence, is that the YouTube Terms of Service page, gets blurry and blurrier, and it really starts to raise the question, like, what's even considered, quote, harassment and, quote, criticism on YouTube? If that makes sense. Even if you don't like Leafy, the termination of a channel without any emails, warnings, or even strikes is very concerning. Put aside the old content and put aside the clickbaity content, the fact that a channel got 0 warnings, and the ones the rest on this list, is very concerning to most content creators. Anyone can be affected by this. It would be terrible to see this happen to a YouTuber to find out that it was an oopsie on YouTube's behalf. The system that YouTube uses has a lot of flaws, and a lot of them have been said before. As much as I love YouTube, my god, it has its flaws. So far as of recording this audio recording, Leafy currently had moved to Storyfire, which, as great as an idea it is, it will have its own flaws in the future. One of them being, as of current, is how they're only allowing exclusive content creators from YouTube to actually upload content, so it's not really a, quote, competitor to YouTube. In fact, a lot of people have had that statement with their own reasoning. I recently made a Storyfire account, but I don't expect to use it anytime soon, since I can't really do anything since I'm not able to upload any sort of content. At this point, it's a bit of a slippery slope. There were times where YouTube helped Leafy, but then within seconds stopped responding to him and terminated his channel. I don't care if people say that there was, quote, no loss in value of Leafy's termination, because you can't change their opinion. Leafy's case here is in such a weird debate mix due to Leafy's fans and to Leafy's haters. I would ramble on, but it seems like everybody had the exact same thing. There have been multiple other websites trying to be, quote, the next YouTube, but they've all managed to fail, or people disagreed with the decision that the website has made. Nevertheless, we may never know if Leafy's channel will return. Only time will tell. Until then, Leafy was here, and now he's not. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace. One thing that's quite interesting that I think I should add is that I find it intriguing how now that Leafy no longer has a platform, so many people are now going out of their way saying, yay, Leafy was banned, his termination is, you know, hooray, hooray, just celebrating. Which doesn't make them any better, and if not, scoops down to Leafy's level that they're trying to claim. People are making the argument that it's probably because that if they were to talk shit on Leafy, then they know that Leafy would be able to fucking, I don't know, tear them apart or rip them apart. So it's quite interesting to see how people are that found out that his channel has been terminated are now just saying all these shit towards him, which honestly doesn't make them any better. Then again, that is just my own reasoning, and people have their own opinion, and it's kind of hard to fault that. So I mainly just made this video to mainly see, you know, my side and what I can really say towards those that, you know, make these claims that just something doesn't line up, you know what I mean? This video is brought to you by NordVPN. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. If you're trying to watch a YouTube video and it's for some reason blocked in your country, despite the fact that it's probably fair use, looking at you, Denmark, well, NordVPN is going to be your friend. Trick your PC and/or ISP, let alone the entire internet, that you're in a completely different country. I know you sad chaps over in Denmark are getting fucked by your government and having almost every song in existence blocked despite the fact that it's fair use. Well, then get yourself some Nord. If you're connected to a public Wi-Fi, you're more vulnerable to others who can easily get into your precious data, because your personal data is more important than your local public Wi-Fi. By using NordVPN, they encrypt your data so you'll be protected and your personal data will be cherished and safe. They have thousands of secure servers and options to where you'd like to connect to. So all you Denmark people who can't watch videos because it's blocked in your country, just connect to a different country so you're not totally fucked. Unlike other big websites, NordVPN doesn't sell your personal data. LOL. They don't hold any of your information and sell it to a foreign country. Right now, NordVPN is offering, get this, 69% off. Nice, am I right? Off their 3-year plan. We're going for that low price of $3.60 a month, plus extra month free if you use code PewDieBird at checkout. PEWDIEBIRD. All one word, by the way. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. So go and get NordVPN and demonetize Susan for a change. NordVPN, it's like a condom for your internet connection. Oh no, did I steal somebody's sponsor? Oh no! It's the most dumbest joke I just did there. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Speaking of which, I've seen so many people flexing how they got Leafy merch from alwayslucky.com. Well, guess what, gamers? I got something bigger to flex on. I have the OG Leafy merch from Fanfiber before the website was taken down. Alwayslucky.com, a website that you should totally not go check out. Yeah, 100%. Oh my god. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. But in memorial to Leafy's channel termination, we have merch. Whoa. Who would have seen this coming? We have merch in memorial of Leafy's channel that's similar to a totally rip-off of Leafy. That's right, I'll admit it. I'm not trying to start drama unlike another YouTuber who desperately cares about their merch design and thinking that they came up with the idea even though that particular design has been there ages ago. But we also have original designs there too if, you know, if this doesn't please you, so don't worry about that. Represent.com/PewDieBird. Also, side note, Leafy, I've been waiting for my merch to come, but it never came. How can you scam me like this, bro? Fuck, man. Anyways, that's the end of the video. Please like and subscribe. Okay, cool, thank you. Okay, no, but on a real note, though, thank you guys all for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye. Peace.